members of parliament elect are absolutely grateful to Ghanaians. And that's why we remain in a mood of celebration. But also, we are more importantly in a mood of reflection. We are very reflective at this point, because what the Ghanaian people have demonstrated, it shows that we in the political class, political leadership, we have to be mindful. When you engage in corruption, you engage in impunity, arrogance, state capture, intransigence, where you refuse to listen to the people, you will be punished at the election. And so, in as much as we are in a mood of celebration, we are also reflecting on the important lessons from this election. And that is why we have resolved to be different. The kind of governance we will offer will be a governance of transparency, of accountability. We will be above board. We will listen to the people. We will make sure we fulfill our promises. And you heard the president-elect speak yesterday in church that he does not allow the trappings of power to get into his head. And that must be the example that all of us must follow. Make sure that you remain grounded, you remain down to earth. You must always, be with the people, be mindful of where you have come from, why the Ghanaian people have roundly rejected the MPP, and all the things the MPP did that earned them this monumental rejection, this unprecedented disgrace. We must make sure we stay away from that. And so that really is the mood, and that is what is guiding us, even as we prepare to take over from the 7th of January 2025.
You talk about absolute majority. Isn't that under threat, given the fact that the EC has flagged a number of seats whose declarations, according to the EC, were done illegally?
It will not affect our two-thirds majority. The EC was engaged in an illegality. The Electoral Commission knows that under CI 127, they have absolutely no legal basis to engage in recollation. Only the courts of our country can order a recollation. And you cannot go and be collating results in some other region at a police depot. I mean, the height of illegality. And this Electoral Commission, they continue to show that they are so incompetent, they are so inept, they will do anything to save face for the New Patriotic Party. And that is why the vast majority of Ghanaians are demanding that the Jim Mensah, Bosman Asari, and that MPP Full Soldier, Pia Hene, all of them will just have to leave. So I am glad that we have secured an injunction, and we are going to make sure that all of those illegal, underhand recollation that they were doing at the Tesano Police Depot, all those shenanigans have to stop. And I have no doubt in my mind that the court is going to declare all of those recollations illegal, and the verdict of the people. Look, if you look at how the Ghanaian people have voted, we have won seats that we have never won. Never won. I mean, see what has happened in Bono. The Sunyayi seats, we've never won them. The Brekum seats, come to Greater Accra. See what has happened. I mean, this is a massacre. It's a tsunami. The Ghanaian people are saying that, look, we reject the MPP. So why is the Electoral Commission trying to save the MPP when the Ghanaian people have rejected the MPP? And the Ghanaian people have said clearly, emphatically, that we don't want to have anything to do with the MPP. Then Jim Mensah is engaged in these illegalities. I mean, seats that nobody could have predicted. I mean, Domi Kwabenya, who would have predicted? All the Okaikwe seats, they are Blekuma seats. Who would have predicted? So you look at the fact that, as we speak, there are many regions in our country where the MPP cannot boast of a single seat. Go to Upper West, go to Upper East, go to Oti, come to the Volta region. There is not a single seat in these regions for the MPP. What does that tell you? This is a rejection of impunity, a rejection of corruption, a rejection of state capture, a rejection of mismanagement, a rejection of a government that is so intransigent that what the people say they don't like is what they keep doing. So Jim Mensah cannot stop the overwhelming majority, the two-thirds. Look, the Ghanaian people have tried a hung parliament. They have tried, narrow majorities. And they have seen that, look, the kind of reset Ghana needs, we need a 2/3 majority. And they have given that to us. Look, betting tax has to go. The Ghanaian people want it to go. E-levy has to go. The Ghanaian people want it to go. The emissions tax must go. The Ghanaian people want it to go. COVID levy, the Ghanaian people want it to go. And that's why they've given us this overwhelming majority. And that's what we are going to do with the majority, to do away with these taxes and, begin to alleviate the plight of the people, give the people succor, give them hope, bring them out of the shackles of destitution, the shackles of impoverishment, the shackles of oppression, the shackles of suffering that the Akufo-Addo government put them through. So we are determined to protect that majority. We are going to do everything in our power to protect the 2/3 majority. Else, what are we going to tell the Ghanaian people? I mean, when they have done their part, giving us their votes, all we have to do is protect the mandate they have given us. And I can assure you that our legal team, our flag bearer, the president-elect, the vice president-elect, the entire hierarchy of our party, we are going to do everything in our power to protect the vote, the mandate of the Ghanaian people.
Samuel Okudota Ablakwa, a member of parliament for Northtown. I have ABF Seni here as well. First of all, he didn't have to contest for a return to the 9th Parliament, but he kept telling us here that the MPP was headed for a defeat. First of all, I know you expected victory, but was this the victory you expected? You are live on GHOne TV.
First and foremost, I'd like to thank Allah Almighty for the magnanimity and graciousness with which He liberated the good people of this country. Ibrahim, I always told you that these elections, after the elections, it will be akin to Ghana attaining a second liberation from colonial rule. Apart from the independence we had in 1957, there was no more euphoria than what happened after the December 7th election. Because we had lived under a very oppressive government, a government that was so wicked, so insensitive, so arrogant, so corrupt. You take all the negative attributes. That was what the Nana Akufo-Addo government was. And they were impervious to persuasion or reason. They wouldn't listen to anybody. If anybody told them that this is the catastrophe and the magnitude of disaster they are inflicting on the Ghanaian people, they refused to listen because they were intoxicated with power. And they forgot that power belonged to the people, not to them. To the point that Nana Akufo-Addo was so arrogant that he got up to say that he will not hand over power to somebody he has beaten before. He was talking as if the power belonged to him and was his personal property. And so it resonated down with his minister. You heard Brian Achampong repeating that they are not going to hand over to anybody. And he went to all their officials. And they were so manifestly arrogant that he insulted the good people of this country. But the people were waiting for them because they had subjected their lives for 8 years to excruciating hardship and misery. And when they wanted to complain about the misery the government had inflicted on them, they were not prepared to. They treated them with disdain and contempt. And you saw many further where President Akufo-Addo went and said, well, he didn't care. He was not going to hold some people's stamp. When he went to Kumasi, and the people were complaining of their bad roads, their bad standard of living and others, he said they can go and vote any way they like. He was not going to hold anybody's stamp. You saw how he went to Volta region when the spillage happened, and people lost their livelihoods, lost everything. He told them that they vote one way, they don't vote for him. And so he ordinarily wouldn't have come here, but for the fact that he's president. So he saw how arrogant the president had grown. And so what the people did to Nana Akufo-Addo and the MPP government is to tell them that they will not tolerate that level of arrogance. And so for us, for a humble president like His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, for us it is an opportunity to redeem Ghanaians from that hardship. It's an opportunity to approach governance with humility. If you are elected into office and people are complaining, listen to them. It is not by your own strength that you are in power. It is by the power of the people. So Ibrahim, I can say without any out of that a government of humility like that of President Mahama will listen to the people. So even when the people are complaining and things are not going well, we should have the humility to accept and listen to them and take on board ideas that can help to make life better for them. And so I'm very confident that His Excellency President Mahama is going to deliver. Yes, let me say without any doubt that it's very difficult. The economic conditions and the economy that these people have left after 8 years is in disaster. You know that international ratings of our economy is junk. And when they rate your economy junk, I'm sure, Ibrahim, you know what it is. So I know that it's going to take a bit of time. I will plead with Ghanaians that President Mahama will deliver. But let us be patient and go along with him and see how that delivery process will work out. President Mahama has already outlined in the first 120 days, the 24-hour economy, the elementary aspects of it will be implemented immediately. In fact, I wish we could have even done it in this sitting. We are going to do a rescission motion and take away all the obnoxious taxes, the e-levy, and I'm sure, Ibrahim, as we speak now, the e-levy which we struggled over in Parliament here was forcibly imposed on us as Ghanaians and in Parliament here. Even we went to court, the matter has not been resolved. But we are going to do a rescission motion and take away the e-levy. We shall take away the betting tax. We shall take away the baller tax. We shall take away all obnoxious taxes that contribute to making life more unbearable for Ghanaians. And so Ghanaians will begin to see that this is an NDC government of a magnitude of difference, that we are going to walk the talk. Whatever we have promised in the run-up to the 2024 elections, we are going to start to do it, because let's take the contract between the people and government very serious.
Let's talk about your region. In fact, the vice president is from the northern part of the country.
Yes.
The NPP flag bearer.
Yes.
His choice was to ensure that the vote that had originally gone to your party came to the NPP. What do you assess? How do you assess the performance of your candidate in the northern part of the country and the Zangos vis-a-vis that of the NDC
candidate? Dr. Bawumia, the vice president, did not represent the North. Ask him, even while he was vice president, he never did anything for the North. He can show, even on the Kwalugu Dam, where $12 million was spent. You go there, you only see 2 trips of gravel for $12 million. And this is a man who claims he represents the Northerners and has a feeling for the North. Even when money was voted for projects to be done in the North, he jettisoned it. Nothing. He went on TV and was rather saying that, the project had been done. When evidence was brought to be able, so we will do it. This is the man. So apart from the credibility deficit the vice president suffered, he did not represent the North. And some of us said that the election results will show. You can lie and do the propaganda about your commitment to the North. When it comes to the concrete works, you'll be exposed. So when it came to the concrete works, Dr. Bawumia was badly exposed. And look at that. Apart from his own region, Northeast, and go and look at the magnitude of votes. A vote of only 10,000 that he beat President Mahama. Even in his own region. The rest of the North, he lost pot all. In fact, the deficit he suffered in the northern region was more than 100,000 votes. The same as Upper East, the same as Upper West. So the northern people spoke loudly and clearly that Dr. Bawumia did not represent the North at all. He couldn't get any votes, like I said.
Was it not because of the general performance of the president, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo? Why pin it down on the person of Dr. Mahmoud?
Candidate. And Ibrahim, it was not one ticket. It was a ticket of Nana Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia. So how can Dr. Bawumia run away from the achievements and setbacks of the NPP? He cannot. You see, and that was the dishonest politics he was playing. You will hear him saying that, digitalization, they have done ABCD, and he will be claiming credit. And they asked him, what about the economy? And he ran away. So you see that he was absolutely disingenuous. And it is clear. I've said it that, you see, a lie is like pregnancy. When it is in the infantile stages, you will not notice it. But it will grow. You can deny it when it is 3 months, that you are not pregnant. But when it is 9 months, deny it and we'll see. You cannot. So you'll be exposed. And so, Ibrahim, clearly, the good people of this country have spoken and spoken very loudly. And Dr. Bawumia, I believe if he takes this lesson, he should retire decently from politics.
Where will you be sitting? Your side? Will you be sitting at the minority side or majority side? This matter remains unresolved. The last time the speaker sent you packing. All of you.
Ibrahim, I forgot, let me pay tribute to Ghanaians for this landslide, unprecedented, historic mandate they have given to His Excellency President Mahama and the NDC. Never in the annals of our country's history has a president been given that kind of endorsement. Almost 1.7 million votes. You know, the MPP, Nana Akufo-Addo, had always been bragging that he won the election in 2020, he beat President Mahama with, in 2016 with almost 1 million votes. You heard that. It is not even 1 million. It was 947 or so. It wasn't one, but they take it 1 million. This time, 1.7 million votes. And in fact, it has not. The counting has not finished. I want you to take judicious notice. When the 9 constituencies are added, they have given Vice President Bawumia 41%. When the 9 constituencies are added, he's going to come down to 39%. So he will not even get 40% of the vote. And President Mahama's vote will go to 57.70%. Never in the annals of our country never have we had a landslide majority in parliament. This time, we have a super majority in parliament. 187 seats. So you can see it. Never have we had that mandate before. 180. We can amend the constitution, amend so many things without even relying on anybody. We have a super majority.
There are concerns you abuse it.
Ibrahim, I'm going to tell you that. I just told you, one of the early things we do with these numbers is to take away some of those obnoxious taxes that impose bad living conditions. Is to review certain agreements that are inimical. We have already told you that some of the family and friends, concubine, even some of the things Nana Akufo-Addo was doing for his concubines and his, with these tax reliefs and waivers. We are going to take away all those things and review them and make sure that they are applied judiciously to the benefit of the good people of this country. So all these things will be done to ensure that the Ghana that Ghanaians all cherish, a Ghana of peace, stability, prosperity for all, and not just for members of their family, their friends, and others. Ibrahim, today as we speak, you see that they are hurrying to do some recruitment. Military, police, and others, under the NDC, fire service, all those sectors. We used to advertise them for every eligible Ghanaian to apply. And so in our days, we used to go to Elwak, and you see the lines moving there, open. These people, have you heard any such advertisement and recruitment? They have done secret recruitments and others. But I am telling you that when President Mahama comes, all the false recruitments they are doing, they will be set aside. No doubt about it, Ibrahim. We cannot tolerate them imposing expenditure on the government when the government is not part of it. So President Mahama will deal decisively with the secret recruitment they are doing, the secret payments they are doing. And me, my biggest fear, Ibrahim, my biggest fear is that the rots, we are yet to uncover the true extent of rots. Because the MPP is sitting and hiding a lot of rots. I will not be shocked when we come back and our teams begin investigation. The rot they will recover, which this government has tried to conceal, is unimaginable after destroying the economy and putting it in tatters. So we are not going to abuse the majority. I can tell you that the majority will be applied to constructive reconstruction of the country to ensure that what the people voted for is what we give them. As for where we sit today, Ibrahim, it's clear to you that you know where we sit. Don't you know where we sit?
Tell me.
We are the majority. Where do you expect us to sit?
You are still the majority.
Ibrahim, we don't take instructions from the Supreme Court. We take instructions from Mr. Speaker. Okay? So to the extent that our position has not changed, that is where we sit today.
All right. Dr. Clement Park, you're live on GHOne TV.
What are the issues? Thank you.
You've gotten a ticket into the 9th Parliament.
That's correct.
How does that feel?
Well, first of all, we must give thanks and praise to God for giving us the energy and the resolve to preach the truth to the people. And of course, I must also thank the good people of Woodsa South for believing in me. If this election was about resources and the use of money, look at cash, there is no way the NDC would have prevailed. There is no way I would have been an MP going into the 9th Parliament. And there is no way President Mahama would have been president-elect. We saw money, quantums of money, that made you shiver to imagine that there was this type of cash in the system. And yet our wards are sitting on the floor to learn in classrooms. And yet, almost 6 years down the line, schools do not have enough textbooks for our wards. To think that you can go to a CHIPS compound and there's no paracetamol. And there was so much money being doled out, ostensibly to buy the votes of Ghanaians. It is only because the people were determined and they had decided that they were going to punish the Akufo-Addo-Bawumia-led NPP government for all of the ills and the pain this government has inflicted upon them. And of course, by the grace of God, our vigilance and our alertness has won the day. But ultimately, the credit must go to the good people of Ghana. They decided to come out and vote massively. And that is why I am happy, and I believe that we now have an opportunity under John Dramani Mahama to reset the trajectory of this country. We have rescued Ghana. Now the next stage is to reset so that collectively we can build the Ghana we want. So
talking about reset, let's start on your sector. You are the deputy ranking for the Education Committee. There are conversations that even the incoming president had to react to about the status of the free SHS. There's a bill before this current parliament. First of all, let's start on the conversation around the review, meaning cancellation.
Well, that is a thing of the past. I think that we've put that matter to rest. President Mahama, in his campaign, and as captured in our manifesto, has indicated that free senior high school has come to stay. The policy is a good policy. We have admitted that. We have even argued, rightly so, that we began implementing it in 2015, although our variant was described as progressive. So what John Mahama has said he's going to do is to reinforce it by undertaking a number of actions. One of them is to ensure that there is secured funding. Two is to rearrange the feeding arrangements where we now have it centralized and we hear the complaints about inadequate food, most of the time unwholesome food, the fact that students will be fed the same staple sometimes for even a month. And then we've also talked about bringing on board the private schools so that they can ease the pressure. Well, the private schools have indicated that they are willing to take the same fee that government spends in terms of our wards in the public system. And we've also talked about bringing to an end the obnoxious double-track system and a number of proposals that we have made. So if anyone says that anything has changed, it is my responsibility to say that that is not the official position of John Dramani Mahama and the NDC. John Mahama has said that the Free Senior High School has come to stay, and he is going to improve it by doing what I have indicated, a minimum.
Now, let's talk about the bill. This bill became a subject of controversy. The 8th Parliament will expire in about 3 weeks. Do you think you and your side will be supporting in the passage of this free SHS bill and a number of bills in your sector?
Well, the Free Senior High School bill in its current form certainly cannot be acceptable. I say so because even those of us on the Parliamentary Committee on Education, we didn't really have sufficient time to delve into it. And we have not made any contribution to it. No stakeholder, as far as I know, whether civil society, teacher unions like NAT, NAGRAT, CCT, civil society, and think tanks like Africa Education Watch, Institute for Educational Studies, and what have you. There's not been any stakeholder consultation. There's not been any input. And in fact, my assessment of the bill as proposed, vis-a-vis my assessment of the NDC, MPP manifesto, as far as secondary education is concerned, tells me that the bill is composed of almost 40% of what the NPP has captured in its manifesto. That cannot be acceptable.
So the bill is a reproduction of the manifesto promises of the NPP?
Essentially so. And you see, the bill has far-reaching consequences. And that is why this bill in its current form cannot be acceptable. Not to me, not to civil society organizations, not to NAT and NAGRAT. And all of these groups have come out to say that Parliament should not consider the bill as proposed until there is robust, widespread stakeholder consultation and input. It has implications because in the bill, it is seeking to abolish BECE. Now, that has implications for the definition of what is secondary education and what is basic education. Now, the bill is also seeking to merge what we consider junior high school with senior high school as secondary education. This has serious implications for even human resources in terms of categorizing those who will be qualified to teach in the new arrangement, in terms of what really is secondary education, what is basic education, and even the arrangements in terms of remunerating the teachers. Where are we going to place them? So it is not just a bill that can be rushed. And that is why I believe calls by Africa Education Watch, calls by NAGRAT and other civil society organizations, teacher unions, is welcome. And so we stand with them. We stand with them that the bill ought to be widely subjected to scrutiny and stakeholder input so that when we all agree as a consensus, we will proceed. But in its current form and the context within which it is being brought to Parliament, it is almost as though there's an attempt to smuggle it in without having it go through the purification process, and we cannot accept that.
Finally, Doc, has anybody whispered to you where you are headed, which position you are playing in the new John Mahama administration?
Well, as you know me, I've always served in any capacity that I have been given the opportunity to serve. It is fully the prerogative of the president-elect to decide the pieces that he needs to form his team. And I have a lot of faith in him that whoever he decides at this moment in time has the requisite competence, ability, and skill to be part of his team, he would so indicate. And if I am part of it, so be it. If I am not, I will continue to work assiduously to ensure that he succeeds. Because if John Mahama succeeds, Ghana succeeds.
Huge expectation, finally and briefly. They say massive victory comes with massive expectation. How do you think the second coming of John Mahama will be or should be, given the high expectations from Ghanaians?
Well, I am not the one to say, but we know that Ghanaians have expectations. And John Mahama has assured them that he will do his best to meet their expectations under these very dire circumstances. I mean, the economy clearly is nothing to write home about. Cost of living is still high. Employment opportunities are still, not available for the young people of this country. The agri sector is not doing well. Of course, we've captured all of these in our manifesto. And we believe that Ghanaians would work and are willing to work with John Mahama so that we can weather the storm and build the Ghana that we want. But on the back of it, let's indicate that it is also our responsibility, and I know the incoming president is not oblivious of that we do a thorough assessment of every department, every agency, every ministry, so that we can expose the conditions that we have come to meet to serve as a foundation so that we can carry Ghanaians along. It is crucially important that that assessment is done, that we share the outcome of the assessment so that we know the level of damage, the level of destruction, the level of dissipation of public resources, what is in the public purse, before we can then move.
Would that not be an excuse to say failure?
It's not an excuse, because governance is a continuum. So we are going to take over. So we must let the people know. This is what we came to meet, for example, at the Ministry of Education. This is what we came to meet at the Ministry of Health. This is what we came to meet at the Ministry of Agri. So that Ghanaians can appreciate and understand what we came to meet. Then we can all together see what we can do to build on what we came to meet and to fix the challenges that we came to meet. And I think that is the right thing to do. It is a mark of probity and accountability. We must be able to be transparent from the onset. If we don't do that, then we stand the risk of being blamed for things that we may not have committed.
Dr. Clement Park, a member of Parliament for Busa South. We're still coming to you live from Parliament. Of course, I still have some members of Parliament here. Let me just allow them to say hi. He won the seat from the MPP. He's been able to win it again. You, of course, win it again, retain it. You are live on GHOne TV. First of all, there were many who were a bit concerned that you were not going to be able to make it. Did you feel the same way?
It is not true. I actually am on the ticket of the NDC.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
You won the seat from MPP in 2020.
Yes.
And there were many who felt that you were not going to be able to retain it. I know.
Okay, so on that score, I think that I was very hopeful of winning back my seats, and then from some of the good works that we did on the floor in the constituency, it was very positive that I was going to win the election. So it wasn't surprising that this time around I even increased my margin from 4,000 to almost 12,000. I can say that I feel there's much more responsibility to me now, looking at how best the people have shown the love and then the endorsement. So I have taken up the challenge, and then I promise my people I'm going to even deliver much more than I did even in the first time.
All right. That's GHOne West. Yes, Member of Parliament for GHOne West for you. And so this is from the job 600. I will take you quickly to the makeshift Chamber of Parliament, and that's the Grand Arena, where we understand the NPP is addressing the media. And so see you soon.